So we are going to be back. There is still Dayah, he's doing some other stuff on our forum site, so I'm going to start by myself. It's scary being here all alone. But well, I think that most of the games that are going to start after this are going to be hypers or at least turbos. So we'll see how many games we get. And when situation is like this, that we are having just 15 big blinds, just less than 10 times what he's opening, so I think that it's quite. Then we need to think, when it's under 10 times what he's opening, should our resteal size be shove, or and there needs to be a reason if we are not shoving. And when we were back from the break, then I think that there's something that you shouldn't be that worried about, that government tries to ban all the other sites except their own, since governments need quite strong incentives to do that, and they are not getting the political support to do it. And I think that's mostly the case in Finland as well. But in Finland there is the European Union that makes them act in a way that's good for poker players, because they can't discriminate between the member states. But in Canada there is nothing like it that would stop the government from doing really stupid things. You lost, bro. You got a message, or you get the private message from the Finnish side. There was something on the Finnish side chat that I think you should read, because I think you are listening to us right now. We are still trying to make our English forum, we are trying to make it better, we are trying to include more content to that side, but we have just started it 2 days ago, so it might seem still empty, but we are going to start filling it up. And actually, when I'm looking at the list, that there is like Canada also has a VSOP winner, Jonathan Duhamel, also Jason Mercier. Like, I think that there is quite a lot of famous names on the list. Actually, just 3 big blinds with a suited hand. I'm pretty sure I should be in. We are, now that we have started, we are doing it mainly the English side as a forum as well. As I say, that we are now quite the young site, so you can see the forum right now, and so there is just register and there is probably something interesting to see or do already. This is going to suck majorly on the top right. It should have been the hand previous to that one. Run good at the good time. You're back?
I'm back. Sorry about the delay. Had some business to take care of.
I'm not that worried that some people you are playing with are watching your screen on here, because if someone would be trying to take advantage of it, there is over 30 seconds of delay from my end to some of the players. And also on MTTs it's really hard to get to the same table. At least on PokerStars side it's really hard, and when we are doing content like in Finnish we have done pot limit Omaha cash games, no limit hold'em cash games, sit and goes, multiple different sit and go structures, multiple different MTT structures. We are having with the structures that you are where it's easier to get to the same table. We have used a delay server, so when we are adding like 45 seconds to a minute of delay, it gets quite impossible to use the whole card information during the hand against me. So, and even with the 30 seconds of delay, if I start thinking that there is someone that always takes a lot of time acting against me, then I can move the table to another screen, and when the table is on the another screen, then they can't see it and move some other table to the side, or move some other table instead of it.
Well, that pretty much sums it up. But of course we plan that if you're gonna go into a deep end of some MTT tourneys, we are gonna add some extra delay just in case there is somebody who finds an interest in our video and decides that it's a good way to follow, but then when the question is about the bigger monies, then we have to get more careful about it.
Yeah, it's always like that we are trying to be smart, because it's also the other way around. The more delay we have on the video, the less interesting it becomes watching and also commenting on the hands, and that makes a bit of a problem for us, because the safer we are, the less interesting it will be. So we are trying to strike a balance that we are not losing money doing this, but we are producing interesting stuff. I'm thinking what I want to add.
Yeah, we definitely were hoping for another duels there. No luck this time either.
But well, here's the second. There's the second in the money for the day.
That's good. So there is at least 2 cashes already.
Yeah, at least 2. I think there might have been some else, like one of the HOTS, but I'm not entirely sure.
I heard that you were talking about our English side when I was on the other side of the wall on my office space, so to say. So it's pretty empty, maybe at the moment, but we just opened that like 2 days ago. So please, if you have something interesting to say, start a blog or ask some questions, and we will build that place up like we did on the Finnish side of it. And we'll see what happens afterwards.
And we are having, on the Finnish side, we are having more content on that. We are having like coaches that are, I'd say they are really good at what they are doing, but mostly known in the Finnish side of things. But we'll see on how we are getting our English side developing and working, and seeing how it starts to shape up. There will be the next game, and it's going to be a 180-man turbo.
So you can find the blogs on our webpage. Can you write it down there just in case, because I think it's better, because if that is too small for some viewers.
It's going to be 180 man. It's $15 because I saw that it's going to start pretty instantly, and I like these games because they next to never take more than 2 hours, and that's just about the time that we are thinking about ending this evening's session. Actually, then I could start a few more that I know that are going to start off. On the other screen, the hypers are insane in a way that the blinds are getting higher so quickly that you don't have many spots, or when you are starting to get screwed by the card run, it's not a good thing if you are far away in a hyper. Now even there is it's like, are we screwed now but play on a big pot, or are we screwed a bit later on and play a small pot?
Screwed.
The best case scenario is that they both have ace something and we are not dominated, but that's pretty hopeful. But we don't need to be, because we are playing at 51k pot. And
awesome.
Christmas came early.
Like 11 months early. Yeah, hypers are good. That's what we normally play, hyper sit and goes. But hyper MTTs, they just seem awful, in my humble opinion.
I think they are awesome because they are having quite a lot of play at the beginning stages, and they are having less rake than the hyper sit and goes. So I think that the attainable ROIs could be actually pretty good on the hyper side of things.
I'm afraid that you are now really trying to consider them, adding to your own schedule.
Actually not, because they are running so few hypers. Like there's one 520, then there's $25, and there are like 2 hypers an hour. So I don't think that it's enough to have a good schedule on them.
No.
But like this was like something like 1,000 players, and it has been 1 hour, and there's 63 players left. So it works as a hyper. It really works.
True.
I think we are getting like 2 hypers starting, and then we are getting 2 hypers starting, and then we are going to have some 180 mans that we have started, and the hypers I think we are going to add even later on. The Hyper 6 Max satellites, they are awesome, but when you are having more of the T money or the tournament frequent player points, like for me, because I'm a Supernova VIP, and when I play there might be something like 1,500 to 2,000 VPPs. That means like 5.5k to 7k. It's not a pretty good use of time to play the smallest hypers FPP wise, but it's the higher hypers, they run only on Sundays, the Sunday Million hypers with 4,500 points. But I like the hyper structure, and shootouts are something that I don't like that much, because shootouts are really good at concentrating skill. Like on the Battle of the Planet shootouts, the first table can be pretty easy to beat, and there are like bad players, but the second table is always horrible, because when you need to win the table, and I guess the final table is also, it's the epitome of horrible sit and go table. The system is just, it's really good in concentrating skill, and when you are making a lot of money on the mistakes that the opponents are making on the late stages of tournaments, people are making less mistakes on shootouts than they are making in regular tournament formats, I think. But the Hyper 6 Max satellites, I think that they are really good. And one thing that I have also said before, that, or actually when we are doing English, I haven't said much before, is that the player pool is weaker if it's going to be to a live event, because most of the professional players, they like to get money now, and they don't like to get it if it's going to a live event. And also a satellite, it takes in worse players than non-satellite formats. On $25 Hyper, even though we have a large stack behind, I think that any ace is good to push on hijack, and something like to king 8 off, any suited king. And even though we are getting him to call when we are shoving wide here we are still ahead of his any 2 range.
And now you're top 10.
Yeah, I was bottom 10 just like few hands ago.
Yeah, the situation changes so fast.
I was pretty card dead for a while, and it's not a good thing in hypers.
I was already watching it, what the fuck are you doing there? But he had such a small stack, so never mind.
Yeah, he's...
Yeah, like 3 big blinds or something.
It's sometimes also hard if you are playing hypers and you are playing some regular games, because it's like you are feeling really, really stupid when you are shoving something like 150 big blinds straight up, because you have used to be shoving a lot on the tables that are popping up, and then something happens and they aren't hypers, and you shouldn't be shoving, but you should be doing something else.
That's awful. When I was still able to play at full tilt, I was playing Super Turpers, and then I got to participate in some kind of special VIP tournament. I don't remember the name of it. and then it started in the middle of my set, and I was just shoving all the hands, and I tried to put the table aside that I could recognize it, but when I saw ace jack something on the bottom, of course I shoved it with like 100 big blinds and got busted out by the villain called ace king, and that was the end of that very important tournament, and it wasn't fun.
Usually losing isn't. What about Choom tournaments? I'm not a big fan, but Choom Cash is good. I think Choom tournaments are generally good, but I haven't played them that much because they are really hard to multi-table. But if you are like used to playing just 6 tournaments, I think having one tournament as a Choom tournament is... I think it's going to be real good. That's a bit of a sucky thing. When he's the only guy that I'm not calling against, I would be calling every other player on the table except him. Just by the stack sizes. We are having insane card run on the 15 level 180 man. It seems like every hand comes up playable, or it just feels like it on that spot. And now I see that I have played 2 hands there. That's how our brain screws up. They were splitting the pot. Why? Aces and queens. No?
No, he had such a small stack, the
So
ace tree.
So Poker Tracker recorded that as a split.
Yeah.
But I think Choom tournaments are good, and in Full Tilt Poker I loved the rush on demand tourneys when we could get a tournament to start even with little amount of players, and then it had a long late reg, so if I wanted to play a Choom tournament set, I could just start the set whenever I wanted, and there were 4 tables at least that were on the late reg stage, and then I could just go from there. So set started pretty much instantly, and it was also easy to end. But in Poker Stars, the Choom tournaments, there aren't that many Choom tournaments and no Choom sit and goes. So it doesn't work the same way for me. And I don't know even how well the tournaments play, because the Estonian license dictates that Poker Stars cannot offer games that are not within their license, and they haven't applied for a license for Full Tilt Poker. So that's why we don't know anything about Full Tilt Poker in Estonia.
And that kind of sucks.
And like on Poker Stars, the hypers, they start with 25 big blinds, and on Full Tilt Poker, the Super Turbo started with 10 big blinds, and there was a lot more push fold on the Full Tilt side of things. This is slightly annoying because I was going to push before it, but when we don't have any fold equity, we are not winning the antes and blinds without winning the pot. I don't think that we can join the party with the queen 10 suited.
Can you show the lobby of that tournament, please?
28 players remaining, so we are having three figures already.
Awesome.
Well, a new table and we can ship it instantly. The last 3 tables.
That will be interesting. That could be the one that goes till the end, right?
Could be, of course.
And now he calls with kings or something. It always can be, could be, should be.
I'm pretty hopeful that we are going to have a deep run, and now here it's going to look like it when we are on 3 final tables. In MTTs it's just really hard mentally when if you are not winning them games you are not making money, and if you are having just min caches, even though you are having a lot of min caches, you are not probably making money. But if you are having just like you don't get the money except in one tournament but you win it, you are most likely making money. So it's really hard when most of the money is focused on the top side. I can show it to you as well. I'm just thinking about the time to show it when I don't have any hands going on, because the lobby is slightly larger than the table. So I'm getting the lobby there, but it's like $5,000 for the winner, $3,000 for the second, and on the final table the last one to enter first one to exit gets $300. So it's going to be interesting. Now we can see it for a while, and we have reserved now, or we have at least $140, but we are not satisfied with it because we are going to the end. Hopefully.
For sure. For once. And what other good sayings there are? But it would be really awesome if you could have one nice trophy out of these games. It would be a good start for our English coachings. What do you have to put into pina colada? We have quite a good variety for booze, but that's something we don't usually make ourselves.
That seems... We have outs.
We have hold.
One time.
Oh! I hope I didn't yell too loud. Awesome. There's a fighting chance.
I think there is more than a fighting chance when we are now second in chips.
Ooh, baby. I think you don't have any time bank on that one, so you need to be careful of that. But definitely if you're gonna ship something real nice, we are gonna celebrate it. For sure. Like, I'm not gonna work anymore today.
I'm actually thinking that regardless of what happens, I'm going to grind another set today.
Before or after the celebration drinks?
Depends on how strong they are.
Pina coladas are not that bad.
But pina colada, there is something coconutty.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't... Is it Malibu or is it something...
I think there is Malibu at least. Oh, we got a recipe. Rum, pineapple juice, coconut milk. Yeah.
We are... Oh, we are having pineapple slices, so we have pineapple juice and
But if we put some pineapple slices into a grinder, what's that called?
blender.
The blender, and just put some
Then
raw
it almost sounds healthy.
Yeah, pro tip. Put some fruits or berries into a blender and some booze, and surprise, surprise, it's a healthy drink.
No, it sounds healthy. It's not going to be healthy.
It could be healthy. Yeah, and because
Finnish drinking habits broadcasted to the whole wide world.
yeah, I should do some grinding as well, but at some point we have to celebrate if you ship some nice sums of money. Yeah, I once put some Malibu, bananas, strawberries and ice into a blender with my friends, and it was really tasty. Surprise, surprise. Really yummy and surprisingly strong, and that's the end of the story.
When the antes are so high, like I have a tourney adjusted big blinds at 6, even though this looks like it's going to be a huge overbet, it's not, because the antes are so high, so we are going to ship it and hope that the largest stack doesn't call us. But we are getting huge payouts for.
Last 2 tables.
Without this big stack, it would be pretty easy. I think we can raise fold to quite a few people, and I think it should show up pretty strong against most of the guys. I'm going to be calling Geraldaros and Bowman for sure. And we are getting a flat call.
Screw the flats. And we are getting a fold. Good job.
But that's something that when these tags are useful, like she has done or he has done something stupid. I'm pretty sure of it. During some of the games, and gotten a nice little mark. Now on here, I don't think there is much value in raising on the bottom left one on the flop, but when we are having such a short stack to play, and this is the only guy that I'm going to fold to. That's the biggest stack left.
Shame on you. But good decision.
It's the correct decision, and that's
It
all
is.
that matters, even though we would have won the pot.
True. But like Virpa says, I think most of those players don't adjust their game accordingly because of the antes and their huge effect on the game.
But like here, with the king queen, it's so much stronger than the queen 10 before it, so that I could have called every single one of the other players, but oh well. Oh well, sometimes things happen that you don't wish to happen, but even now it's a bit insane, because just by chip EV, this should be this probably should be a call. Actually, I don't think I like my game that much on that spot. I could have called it, or I should have called it.
There are definitely some interesting games going on, like gameplays.
I think we have now gotten like and at the beginning we didn't have many interesting games, but now we are having a lot. And
Opla. Not quite the final table, but almost.
yeah, it did eliminate 2 players at once. Like aces, there were like aces, then there were queens and tens on the same hand, which is quite awesome. And now, like, if I would have a hand that's even a favorite against the Boomes any 2 range, I would have raised, but the 6-7 suited, it will play too weak against an any 2 range. And yeah, nice flat call from BB.
But that's pretty nasty spot for you now, because there are 2 huge stacks, then you in the middle and smaller ones.
Yeah, there's like only one large stack on the other tables. But it's going to be interesting quite soon, because we are nearing the final table, and we are still going to play aggressively, because if you are playing scared, you are getting little money or next to no money.
Oh wow, 2 to go and then it's final table.
And we are getting aces in quite a good way.
We are.
But we are not holding with them aces.
No, we are not.
That's something that we are used to.
Yes, we are. Are we insane?
And actually, I don't think that Rako should fold anything there. Any part of his range that he's opening. Just 1 player to go for the final table.
So it was $300 for the final table position, right?
Yeah, but the final table bubble isn't that large, so we are trying to improve our position by playing aggressively. And I'll add another hyper here to the screen. And now it starts to get interesting when we have a top 3 stack and we are definitely going to the final table. No.
Oh, don't say that. Not yet. You're always ahead of your time. Now we are.
And now we are definitely going to the final table.
Good job. Three out of 9.
On the Finnish side of things, we started let's get to 100,000 with just MTT victories, and I think it took us 2 months to get there. So we are having some really good MTT players on the Finnish side that are doing a lot. Oh, now there is the discuss a deal button. That's something I have never seen.
Me neither.
Not going to use it here.
And not that I'm that bad of an MTT player. I don't play MTTs.
But Julas Pro, what do you think about Rako's raise sizing with a plan to fold to your 3-bet? I think it sucks. So, like, I think that if you are raise folding with any other sizing than min betting, you are doing it slightly wrong on the hypers. The effective stacks are just, you are wasting good chips. But I don't think that he's an experienced player. I think that he's going to be more of a recreational player. It's not even bad when there was, if I remember correctly, the big blind was quite small stack as well. It's not a bad play for some medium strength hands to just limp and see if you are getting to play with the smallest stack.
So were there any huge price jumps at the final table that you should be aware of?
Let's see. I haven't
Maybe
looked
you
at
should.
it. No, it's pretty much a solid PokerStars structure. Can't call with the Queen 6.
What would be the worst hands of your range?
Because I don't think that the player is top reg now. I wouldn't have called, like with queens. I think only Queen Jack suited would be something that I would be calling, because of that. I don't think that the player is pushing enough.
And let's see what happens to our aces this time. Do they hold? Guess what? They never do.
If we wouldn't have run well in one tournament, this wouldn't be funny.
No, it wouldn't.
It may be funny for you, but
Well,
not funny for me.
It's not funny for me to see you losing money per se, because it's kind of my money too, in a way.
And you lost process in before 1.3k heads up sit and go. Well, that's what the last heads up looks like. The Mel Gibbs M is shoving with the pretty nice ranges, so let's take notice of that. Or he isn't shoving, or he's shoving against the Atlas J. Very interesting hand.
Very.
A Jack 9 suited, Jack 10 off, I would have pushed there. And any pair. Actually, that's probably better as a min raise. Itching to see some flipping. We are playing a hyper turbo tournament. You have seen some flipping.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a bad thing, because have you seen our flipping lately?
Flipping is not a skill. It's all about luck, and we just need to get to a good position most of the time, and we are going to get rewarded in the end. But like during one night, we can do everything correctly and still lose money, but that's poker.
That's poker. That's, by the way, interesting. First table, 3 supernovas next to each other. Way to go.
And everyone is showing their stars. That's also interesting.
It rarely happens.
It really rarely happens.
So there is one more dropping out. So there is 6 left. And then there were 6. How much money do you get already?
Not enough. I want to go to the end.
That's the absolutely correct answer.
And I want to have a big stack, and I want to drive it. That's something that probably doesn't translate to English as well as it should. It's going to be at least 4 figs.
Awesome. Is there at any point you need to consider adding more delay?
Not for this tournament.
Well, that's hyper. True.
And everybody has been acting super quick, I think. So I'm not worried.
You should only be worried about your run.
No worries, I flip good.
I think that getting on boulders to flip takes something more than just luck by Virpa. Well, it requires plenty of other skills as well.
Takes more to flip a forest.
So much about the good card run.
Like, I think the way to win pots here is just to not have a flop, and it's not that, it's not that easy in a hyper.
It's never that easy.
In here, because the guy has been limping a lot, I think that we can ship against him a lot. Hey, New Caledonia! That's a small place, and that's a new place.
Yeah, we can definitely add that to our player list if that's missing from there.
This is going to be harsh.
Oh crap.
But he has a smaller stack, so we get the fourth place money. 1.87k.
Not too bad.
So it's going to be over $1,000 a day. Even though I have blew the first games away.
But luckily they weren't some $500 games.
They were like $109 the bigs, so. But nah, I'm not satisfied still, but
Tough luck. But good game. You played it well. Congratulations.
yeah, it's going to be like when we are playing about 4 tables at a time. It's going to be always awesome if you are having $1,000 a day with something like I think $20-25 average buy-in.
Yeah, Virpa, I checked that we have one sparkling wine in our refrigerator, so it's already cold and yummy.
Burn backs, it's flipping is getting it in with a bigger stack. Yeah, and it's also getting it in better and getting it in better enough times to make skill have most effect on what happens. Like every flip, what happens. But when you are having, let's say, 10,000 situations that you are flipping like 60-40, then skill starts to play a huge role.
I think there are at least 2 players on that 180 men which can be marked as Rex on the right top.
Who are you thinking?
Cursed Blanc and Elliot.
I think they are both, so the curse plunk is that he's stealing some, but not that much.
Probably not enough, but I
think he's probably the better one to mark. But Elliot, even though I have a lot of hands on him, I would like to see a bit more, because I don't think that's the usual blueprint for a winning reg. We are using XSplit, which is working quite well, and it has the delay servers that we need. So, and we are using XSplit also because we can transfer poker tables with pretty much, or let's say it's closest to perfect quality that we have yet seen on how we can transfer poker tables. It just takes some time to get the XSplit settings correctly, but when you are getting the settings done correctly, I think the rewards are quite good. Without him, I would have actually I will open it, because even when he's 3-betting a lot, he's probably not 3-betting enough so that opening it would be. But I'd say that on the $15 180 man, if I see a table like this, that there's one supernova and there is probably 6 players that look quite solid on a table, the table is sucking majorly on a 180 man, because 180 mans are, in my opinion, they are probably the easiest sit and goes in terms of competition, because. But now we got to another table, and we'll see how it goes.
Julos Pro was thinking about the hand you had the last one in the hyper.
Julos Pro, I'd say yes. In general, it would be a good spot for a non-all-in. And it would have been better if there would be multiple larger stacks than our stack behind us. That's the problem. I think there were 3 players and there were 2 larger stacks than ours behind us. And on that spot, I don't think that there is that much. I don't think there is. Now I lost my train of thought. Like, I don't think that when there is only 2 players that are with the larger stack, if there would have been all 3 players with larger stack, then it would have been more of a mistake. And also, I think there is some additional value of getting more foes, because they can't see just one button, so they don't know that someone is all in. There is some value in that. Table 2, the bottom left or top right?
Top right. There was that. There was one player on the bottom who had a slash over 1 big blind, and you were on the small blind with 10-9 off, and you had both maybe 10 big blinds, as well as the big blind had the same amount of stack as you had.
I think it's going to start. It's starting to get closer at around that time, but still, when I need to beat one player, and then I'm still risking my whole stack, it's going to be that I'm going to be tighter in the spot than if I would be closing the action. If I would be closing the action, I could play pretty widely in that spot. Might there be some of our members that would be far in or deep in a tournament, so that we could start getting some of our members to rail? I probably need to ask on the Finnish side as well. But we are now going to a 5-minute break, and let's see you in 5 minutes.